excited. You guys can take a seat and we can give it up for Lee and the crew and Nate. Always sounding good. Always sounding good. Nate, you're back on the drums. Old Big Toe over here. He broke his toe and now he's back. And also, guys, the greatest thing. My sister Laurie and my brother-in-law, that's my brother-in-law Nate, so I'm allowed to hang shade on him. They had a kid on Monday. There's my guy up the back there. Archie's first service and his uncle's preaching. Wowee. What a good night he's in for. That's my guy Archie. We always say that because we work together and man, he would have heard some stuff in the womb, let me tell you at work. So I think he recognizes my voice. Hopefully he does, that's cool. But yeah, Archie, welcome. And welcome to Hard House, that's cool. Archie Samuel. And we're in a series at the moment called Feelings, and who's been enjoying that series? I mean, man, the stuff that's come out of that stage and the things that we've heard has just been life-changing. And if you've been keeping up with it on the socials, it's like blown up. And Joey's video got like 3,000 views all up across the... I was like, I also work with Joey, that's funny. And I like went to work last week and I was like, can I get an autograph, bro? You're like... It's like famous. I'm like, what's going on around here? But yeah, that series has taken off, and I truly, truly believe that people's lives have been touched by it, and everyone that's shared the platform for that, they've done an amazing job. And tonight I'll be closing that series with feeling lost, and it's going to be powerful. And I believe God is truly, truly, truly going to speak tonight. And anyone ever felt lost in the place tonight? Anyone ever been lost? I've got to tell you a funny story about my beautiful, amazing partner, Amy. And I didn't tell her I was going to do this because now I'm going to be in deep trouble. And I wanted that to last like until now. So you're good. It's all good. And so yeah, Amy's been lost before. And I'm going to tell you this quick story. And then we're going to... Look, she's so angry already. And she's always said, make sure when you get up here, don't ever mention my name. I don't want any attention brought to me. Now there's a whole story about you. Let's go. So yeah, let's just tell this funny story, and then I'll preach hopefully good, and we'll eat some pizza and the new menu, lava cakes. Woo! It's gonna be fire. It's gonna be cool. Anyway, so Amy, I like triathlon. Does everyone know what triathlon is? Like the sport. It's a bit strange. I don't know, understand why I like it. And most people that do it don't understand why they like it because it's just a silly sport. You swim, you bike, and you run, and it's like you torture yourself. And it's strange, but it's fun, and I like it, and that's what I do for fun. And yeah. And so anyway, I like to race in triathlons. And so I went and did one in Sydney a few months ago, and me and Amy went, and it was the first triathlon I actually did that was like outside of Port Macquarie. I've done like the Port Macquarie ones, which I've got a massive family and all you beautiful friends that come and cheer me on, and it's great vibes and fun times. But this time it was just me and the old Amy. And, so like we're there, and it's a pretty big deal. It's not like the end of the world if things don't go right. But I mean, like I train fairly hard, and I like to try and perform at the best of my ability. And it's just really nice. Let me tell you how nice it is when you see someone you know on course. It's like, oh, damn, this feels so good. Like at Port Macquarie, if you've met my family, they're loud. And if you've met Laurie, she's really loud. And if you've met my best mate, Joey, a guy, you can't shut that guy up. And so, like the screams that you hear when I'm in Port, it's like I could just run and run and run. And it's just awesome. And no, I went to Sydney, and it's me and Amy. And the day before, I'm like, okay, Amy, let's have a quick team meeting here because it's me and you, and like let's quickly, and like you got to be in certain spots so then I really get the boost. I really need it. And like the bike course is 2 laps, so there's like a turnaround. Let's have Lock, dude, it's me. I'm so smart. I'm awesome. I'm never wrong. I know, like, we don't even have to have this meeting. I know where to go. Like, are you sure? Like, because it's pretty far. Lock, like, I've got it, man. You're going to see me. It's going to be, okay, we'll see. We'll see about that. And so we get to the day, and, like, the swim starts, which is all good. I say goodbye to Amy. I go, I'll see you where we planned and where I know you know where it is, and I'll see you there, right? That was the plan. And so, like, I'm swimming, which is cool, and I hate swimming, though, but I got through the swim. Record swim, by the way, so shout out. Yeah. I don't like swimming, but I swam good that day. And I get out of the water, and so you get out of the water, you got to take, like, your wetsuit off, and you got to go find your bike. So I found my bike, which is good, and as soon as I get on the bike, it's like I like the bike because it's, like, my favorite leg. And I see Amy. I did see Amy this one time. And she's like, whoa, go Lockie. And just her. I'm so used to like, go on, Lachlan, you got it, son, go. And so like it's still good. Like it's still good. Like it's good, I promise. And so I get on the bike, and so I'm chilling, and it's a 2-lap course. And the plan was for Amy to be at the turnaround point on the bike. And so, like, I did the first lap, coming in for the turnaround, I'm like, oh, here we go. Like when you know when there's meant to be someone there, you get so excited, let me tell you. And so I'm like, where is that little girl of mine? I'm like, riding my bike. Okay. This is where she was meant to be. Turn around. Okay. She is not here by the looks of things. Anyway, so I was like, okay. She's not here. It's okay. I'll just do the lap. Obviously, I'm not going to just quit because she's not here. And I'll meet her back in transition when I go on my run. It's all good. She got lost this one time. Surely that's going to be as worse as it gets. Am I right, Amy? That's what I would think. And I don't know where you were, but it's all good. Anyway, I did the second lap, and I rode really good. It was an awesome time. I didn't really need Amy. I did. I'm in so much trouble. I come in off the bike. Come in. I'm like, oh, that's so strange. I would have thought, here's what I would have loved to see. I would have loved to see my beautiful girlfriend cheering me on. But what I did see was everyone else cheering on their person. And old Lockie boy got nothing. And so I'm like, I get off the bike. And I'm like, okay, now I'm starting to panic because I'm like, has someone taken Amy? So I'm like starting to panic, and so I'm like, all right, surely she's going to be on the run. Like she'll be on the run course somewhere. Anyway, I'm panicking, I'm running. Keep in mind, I've just rode 90 kilometres, haven't seen her. I'm about 21 kilometres into the run. Oh, I'm sorry, it is a 21 kilometre run, and I'm about like nearly halfway. So like 8 or 9 Ks in. Still haven't seen her. And I'm running, and out of nowhere, Amy, bless her soul, I just am running, and I'm a little sad. I'm a little panicked. I don't know where she is. I don't know what's happening. And I just hear her, go, Lockie. And there she was, guys. And there she was. We finally found Amy. She finally made it. To this day, I still don't know what she was doing for the 3/4 of my race, but it's all that matters. That she made it to the finish line. She saw it, and she was lost, and we found her. No one took her. She's alive, guys. And boy, was I glad to see her. That's good, isn't it? You ever felt lost like Amy felt that day? Man, I'm sure, Amy, you felt lost for sure. And tonight, I don't want to talk so much about being physically lost, but like Amy over there. I want to talk about being lost in our soul. And I don't know if you've ever been through something in here tonight, or you're just going through life and things start to get a little chaotic and things start to get a little crazy and we can start to feel lost. And so tonight, if you resonate with that, I want to pick up this story, and I think it might speak to you tonight. And before I preach, here's the goal. Here's the goal tonight. The goal tonight is that you might walk out of this place and go home, and something that was said or something that you might have experienced even changes your life. That you don't just hear a cute message that sounds good and you have a laugh and it's fun, we eat pizza, but something actually shifts in your life, and you might leave this place touched by Jesus. And so we're going to pick up this story in John 8 here, the Passion Translation, and in verse 1 it says, Jesus walked up to the Mount of Olives, near the city where he spent the night. Then at dawn, Jesus appeared in the temple courts again. And soon all the people gathered around to listen to his word. So he sat down and he taught them. Then in the middle of his teaching, the religious scholars and Pharisees broke through the crowd and brought a woman who had been caught in the act of committing adultery and made her stand in the middle of everyone. And so here's Jesus teaching to people at dawn. A morning person, that's my guy right there. Anyone a morning person? I'm a morning person in here. And so Jesus was teaching at dawn, and he's gathered all these people and these people around, and You can imagine this, the Pharisees and the law people and the religious people, they found this girl in the act of adultery, which is, if you don't know, having sex with someone else's husband, not wife. And so they get her and then they bring her to Jesus, and he's there and she's surrounded and she's in the middle, and man, you got to think, what's she thinking? She's there and she wouldn't be in much more than like a blanket, and she's probably scared and she's embarrassed and she's shamed. And before I go any further, can I just say, if you've ever felt like that in a church or a setting like this, can I just say real quick, that is religion. Yeah. And at Heart House, we won't stand for anything like it. And we believe that nothing like that deserves to be in the building of a church and Jesus. And that's not Jesus that happened to you. That's religion. Yeah. And so before I even preach, that's not even the preach, but if you've ever felt like that ain't church and that ain't Jesus. That's religion. And here at Heart House, we believe in Jesus and His grace and His power. We don't believe in religion and being shamed and getting people. And so in verse 4, they said to Jesus, Teacher, we caught this woman in the very act of adultery. And doesn't Moses' law command us to stone to death a woman like this? Tell us, what do you say we should do with her? So to get this story, you really got to understand that in those days, they followed the first 5 books of the Bible, which is called the Torah. And it was the law back in those days. If anyone was caught in the act of adultery, that you would be stoned to death. And so it was the law that if they got caught, then they were going to get stoned to death. And so that's why they were trying to trick Jesus. And so it keeps going here in verse 6. It says they were only testing Jesus because they hoped to trap him with his own words and accuse him of breaking the law of Moses. But Jesus didn't answer them. Instead, he simply bent down and wrote in the dust with his finger. Angry, they kept insisting that he answer the question. So Jesus stood up and looked at them and said, let's have the man who has never had a sinful desire throw the first stone. Man, come on, Jesus. We brought this chick here and we brought this woman here. She's just got caught in the act, and what are you going to do about it? And he silences the men, and he goes, how about this? Anyone that's even had the thought of sinning, how about you throw the first stone? Not even sin, just the thought of sinning. You guys throw the first stone. And then he bent over again and wrote some more words in the dust. Upon hearing that, her accusers slowly left the crowd, one at a time, beginning with the oldest to the youngest with convicted conscience, until finally, Jesus was left alone with the woman still standing there in front of him. Man, being alone with Jesus, how precious it is. How precious it is to be able to be alone with Jesus. That just once in your life, you got to experience just you and Jesus on earth. Just once you got to experience just you and him. And so he stood back up and said to her, dear woman, where are your accusers? Is there no one here to condemn you? And what Jesus was saying here is that to be convicted of this sin, you had to have 2 or more accusers confirm what was happening. And so Jesus was saying to this woman today, you're not going to die today. You're not going to die today, lady. You're not going to die today. Where are your accusers? Where are they now? And verse 11 and finishes here. Looking around, she replied, I see no one, Lord. Jesus said then, I certainly don't condemn you either. Go, and from now on, be free from a life of sin. See, this woman, she wasn't perfect, and we know that. But I don't think she was ever the same after that moment. I can't believe, God, you give me a second chance. God, I can't believe you really love me that much. You really changed me, and we all have something, right? We all go through stuff, and I don't think your life is meant to be about the act. We all go through stuff in here, and I'm not the first to say I'm perfect. We all go through stuff. But I don't think life's meant to be about the sin. I don't think life's meant to be about the mistake. I don't think life's meant to be about the addiction. I think it's meant to be about Him. It's about Him and how He saves us and how He's not going to leave you out there no matter what it is you've walked in here with tonight, no matter how lost you feel. He's not going to leave you and you're not going to die today. Where are your accusers now? Man, I'm telling you, there is a God who wants to set you free from being preoccupied with your own sin. He wants to take you to wide open spaces of grace and where you stop being so caught up and preoccupied with what I got to change. He just wants to take you to grace. And this is what He says. This is what He says. The life defined by be good, get good is over. The life defined by performance is over. The life defined by your past struggles, your now struggles, whatever it is over. Because I want your life to be about me. Oh, for you are free now. Free from trying so hard. Free from striving so hard. He says you're free to live a life from sin. Jesus didn't go, hey, okay, now lady, now you're free if you never sin again. No, you're just free from living yourself, living with the shame, living with what it feels like to sin, because we're all going to sin. And so Jesus goes, you're free from that feeling of living in that sin. We don't have to live in it. I mean, we're all going to do it, but we don't have to live in it, and it doesn't have to define our lives. For Jesus set us free. Go now and be free. This is not just a story about a sinful woman being saved from her sin and her mistakes and being made well. No. This is a story about you and a story about me. For we are all this woman. And this is a story about Jesus and His grace. This is a story about Jesus and His never-ending love for and you and me and everyone. This is a story about His forgiveness. And I was reading this story and, man, He couldn't be this good. Jesus, He couldn't be this good. It can't be this easy. And it can't be this easy, Jesus. I mean, the lady did nothing. She got caught in the act of the sin, and she just got put into the middle of the circle, and it's not as if she prayed or she didn't even know who Jesus was, but Jesus just showed up. It can't be this easy, you might be saying to yourself. Oh, Jesus, He can't love me, but my friend, He can, and He does love you. And this is not a debate about your sin. This is about Jesus taking all of us broken, hurting, lost humans and saying, you know what? You are broken, you are lost, but I still show up for you, and I still want to love you, and I still am going to save you. Where are your accusers now? It's about becoming everything He wants us to be. Stop looking at your sin and your brokenness as the measuring stick of how close we are to Jesus. Jesus is close regardless. All we have to do is focus on Jesus and get close to Jesus, and always more of Him. She was going to die. She was destined for death. And that was the law. And Jesus, He comes and says it's not even about the very thing that got her put there in the first place. It's about me. For what you don't know is that in a little bit of time, I'm about to go to the cross, and I'm going to die, and I'm going to become sin. I'm going to go to the cross, and I'm going to die for every single wrongdoing you've ever done. You don't know that yet, lady, but that's what I'm going to do. And so right now, it doesn't matter what brought you here. What matters is that I'm going to take you out of here, and I'm going to put you into something that's going to make you a better person, a more lovable person, everything that you've always wanted to be, lady. That you're not going to be known for the act, but you're going to be known for the act of what He did on the cross. You're not going to be known for the sinner. You're going to be known for the person who went to the cross for the very sin. You know, inspired by my friend Jonas up there on the lights, who told his testimony a few weeks ago, I wanted to quickly share a part of my testimony and a part of my story, and then the band's going to get up here and play magical music, and then we're going to have a moment with God, and then it's going to be fun. And you know, I grew up in the church, and a lot of you would know that, and it was cool, whatever. Grew up in the church with my mum and dad are right here, and yeah, go mum and dad. They're great. They are great human beings. And I love church, and I didn't have a problem with church. I didn't have a problem with the church. I never felt judged or anything. It was a good place to be. I met some of my closest friends that I still have to this very day at church, and I don't think I was a very naughty kid. I was pretty normal. I didn't act up too much. I was sneaky, however. And I went through youth, and I loved youth. I loved serving and helping and doing all that sort of stuff. And my life, I knew about Jesus. I knew him, and I believed in Jesus. But I guess I thought I had a relationship with him. I did sort of had a relationship with him, and I loved Jesus. It was like a bit like that. And I remember I got to like 18, 19, and the party scene sort of crept in. And it's not as if I walked away from the church, because I kept coming to church and serving and doing stuff. But behind closed doors and behind what everyone else saw, I was out living a life of partying every weekend and just doing not good stuff and getting up to no good, gambling and sleeping around, and just the opposite of what you would call someone that is a Christian. And so I felt like this torn between my life, where I was like, I love the church and I still go to church, and here's the thing, I would preach messages on stages like this to people like you, saying that God's so good, and the very next day I would get off that very same stage and then go out and drink so much alcohol and gamble and look at myself and go, I just preached the message that Jesus can change and do amazing things, and he can't even change my life. And that's the fight I fought, and that's what I went through at a young age, and I was just so torn, and so I didn't know what to do, and I felt just so lost. Just so lost, man. Like I didn't know where to go. I still loved the church, still went to church, but God wasn't like my everything. And man, I can remember there was not even a defining moment of when I just sort of knew that I was going to be all in on this. But I remember the stuff came to light, and just by the way, stuff always comes to light if you're trying to hide it. So if I can encourage someone that's going through something in here tonight, young people, old people, please, just tell someone. That is the most thing I've ever learned, is that don't keep it a secret. Just tell someone you trust, man. Because Jesus always finds a way to bring it to the surface, let me tell you. And so I made that mistake of not telling anyone. I just kept it a secret, and it did get brought to the surface. And so I had to sit down with some people, and we started to sort my life out, because I didn't want to walk away from it, but I was so close. And I fast forward a few years and coming to church, and I don't even remember what it was. But I just remember looking back on my life now, and I go, man, something changed. And it wasn't as if the church attendance and me coming to church was the factor. Because I always went to church doing bad stuff and doing good stuff. So that didn't change. And so if you're in here tonight and you're like, I'm coming to church, I'm going to be good. Can I just say, it's not the church, it's Jesus. And so that's not what even changed. And it's not as if like I prayed any harder, because to be honest, I probably didn't, from when I was going out to when I was now not. And I was trying to get my life. It wasn't even that. Like, it wasn't even as if I started just reading the Bible more and learning scriptures off by heart, which is cool, it's whatever. If that's your thing, that's your thing. But that's not what really saved my life. What saved my life was knowing that Jesus, the Son of God, isn't going to leave me in that circle to be accused. And I know I stuffed up. And I know I made so many mistakes. And I know I hurt people. And I know I was a broken, lost, piece of crap human. But Jesus still found a way to pick me up and say, I ain't going to leave you there, son. Man, you might think these people are out to get you. You might think you're in the circle, and you might think but Jesus wants to set you free tonight. The lady was, it's funny, get this. The lady was trapped in the circle of people. And tonight you might feel trapped in your life and trapped in certain situations. But get this, Jesus is about to set you free from a life of sin. It wasn't that I kept coming to church that saved my life. I'm sorry. The church is awesome and it's a community and you should come to church. I'm not trying to say don't come to church. But man, it's Jesus in the church that heals people. And I don't have anything, Bible's awesome, but you memorizing Bible verses isn't going to change your life. I'm so sorry. Jesus, having an encounter with Jesus, letting him touch your heart, that's what's going to change your life, man. You got to get close to the one who created you. You got to get close to the one who knows you. You got to get close to the one that knows you by name, and he knew you before you were in your mother's womb. That's who's going to change your life forever. You feel lost right now? Get close to the Father. You feel like you don't know what to do, you don't have all the answers? Get close to the Father and sit in his presence and see what happens. So if you've come here tonight knowing what you've done and we've all missed the marker, don't let people fool you. Everyone has fallen short of his glory. If you're here tonight and you say, he can't forgive me, he can't love me, I'm so lost, I'm not good enough, I'm anxious, I am overwhelmed, I'm angry, I'm lost. I'm all of it. I'm all of the series. Welcome to the party. Let me tell you, I don't know how he does it. I don't know how he does it, but he shows up, and he showed up in my life at the right time. And it's when I don't even deserve it, he shows up. And I'm just left thinking, did that really just happen? To a dirtbag kid like me, who didn't deserve it. Did that really just happen? Did Jesus really just save my life again? And the answer to that is 100 times over, yes. You keep stuffing up, he's got more grace for you. He's got more love for you. You go back and do the same things over and over, he's still got more and more for you. You know, I heard a preacher say it like this, and it really spoke to me. If God knew all of the sin I would commit, if he hates sin, why did he create me? And here's the answer. Because God's never-ending love for you trumped even his immeasurable hatred of sin. Lachlan, I knew all of the things you would do, and I hate every one of them. But my eternal love for you is so much greater than the sin. And so don't you ever tell me, or don't you ever tell anyone that you are too far away from God. Because there is no sin, there is nothing that can separate you and the Father. He created you and he knew what you were going to do. He knew the very acts that we would do. And yet he loves us so much that he went ahead and still created us. So can we all just drop the facades and we put up these things and we try and be better than one another and we judge each other based on sin? We're all just a woman caught in adultery, and we all just need the Savior to come and save us. For we are all lost, and Jesus saves us, and he speaks to us, and he's close to us. And may we never forget that it's not about who is better or worse than one another, but it's about all of us broken, lost humans connecting with the perfect Savior that loves us so much. He's never not showed up for me. No matter how bad or deep or lost it got. He's never left me. He's always showed up for you. Man. It's like I feel like it was just like yesterday where I was caught up in that mess and I felt so lost, and I really didn't think I was going to make it through, but it's him, man. It's him. And it wasn't as if I prayed more, read the Bible more. It was just, I got closer to Jesus. And I got closer to the one who saved me, and I just didn't let go. I just held on for dear life, and I just made it through one day at a time. Just one day at a time, and I just held on as tightly as I could, and I just didn't let go to the one who saved me. Where are your accusers now, he says. As if to say, I'm here. I'm always going to be here. I deserved it, Jesus. Like I did the act. I did get caught in it. I deserved the law. No, not today. Not any day. For when you walk with Jesus and you walk knowing that he saved you and he's always going to continue to save you. He's not going to let you die on that ground that day. I'm done, and the band can come up here and join me so I have some friends. And I'm done. I want to, I'm done. I've got one more story, then I'm done. There's this man in the Bible, and I read this week, and I just had to add it in. And the man in the Bible called Zacchaeus. And Zacchaeus was a bad man. Zacchaeus was much worse than all of us in here tonight, so I know that's going to make you feel good. Zacchaeus was a short man. I read it was pretty funny because I'm tall, short. Yeah. And that joke died right around there somewhere. It's all good. And Zacchaeus was a chief tax collector. Zacchaeus was a Jewish man, and he worked for Rome, and what he did was he would go around and steal from his own people, other Jewish people. And back in those days, Zacchaeus was a crook, he was a thief, and he was a liar. He was a bad man. And Zacchaeus finds out that Jesus is rolling into town. And you know the story. And he climbs the sycamore tree, and he's a short man, so he's got to climb that tree. He gets up there. He's trying to find the guy they call Jesus. Oh, this is not the message, but it's the message. It's funny, I just got this. Zacchaeus is looking out trying to find Jesus. But Jesus was at the bottom of the tree the whole time. I don't know who needs to hear this tonight, but you've been looking for Jesus. Jesus is right here. Zacchaeus was looking for Jesus. But what Zacchaeus didn't know is that Jesus was right there. And Jesus goes, I'm right here, my man. I don't know, bro. What are you doing? Look, been here the whole time. Jesus goes, hey, Zacchaeus, come on down from that tree and I'm going to have dinner at your house. Whew. I wish I could have dinner at Jesus. That would be cool. Zacchaeus hops down. You can imagine him. They're at Zacchaeus' house and he's with the gang, the thugs, the other tax collectors. And Jesus is just there at the table. I wonder what they're having. Maybe a steak, who knows? Probably fish. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it 100. That's a good joke because, that's geologically smart because, fish. And they're probably eating and don't get me off track, guys, because you know what happens when I start thinking about other stuff. I just go with the flow. Zacchaeus is what we're talking about, right? Yes. Yep. Jesus is eating with Zacchaeus, the bad man. And I wonder what Zacchaeus was thinking. Having dinner with Jesus. Zacchaeus is there eating it. He's probably sweating. Is it hot in here, guys? Oh no, I've gone and done it. So Jesus, the Savior of the entire universe, is sitting across from me and I'm Zacchaeus, the bad man. He's eating his fish. Brings the glass up. I got something to say. I don't really know what's happening right now. But here's the thing. I feel something on the inside and all right. I'm a bad guy, Jesus. That's it. I'm a bad dude. But I feel something right now, and you know what? I'm going to give back tenfold what I stole. I'm going to give back 50-fold. I'm going to give so much back that, and if you do the math, it's like, bro, you don't have enough money to give all that back. But it's as if Zacchaeus was like at that very moment, Jesus, I give you everything. Whew. I don't know what you put in this fish, Jesus, but man, I just give you everything. Jesus, I give you everything. See, what happens is when the king pulls up a chair at the table of your soul, we start acting like Zacchaeus. And we can't hold back what's going on the inside. And when Jesus pulls up a chair at the table of your soul right now, the King of all kings, he's pulling up a chair at the table of your soul. And in that very moment, you are going to find so much peace. You are going to find so much love. You are going to find so much forgiveness. You are going to find so much peace. And I wish so badly I could tell you what to do about your addiction or what you're going through or how lost you are. I wish I could give you the 5 steps to overcome what you're going through. but I just don't have all the answers, and I wish you could go home and you hear this message and your life's changed forever. But all I know is this: when the King of all kings comes and sits down at your soul, things start to change, man. And you don't have to have it all together. We're all bad. We're all like Zacchaeus. But when the King sits at the table of your soul, things start to change, and you do crazy stuff like give away everything you had. Jesus, I'll give you everything, man. I just met you 5 minutes ago. I give you everything. Because things start to happen when you let Jesus in on the inside. And tonight I'm believing that there are some people in here. And in a few moments we're going to sing a song, and things are going to get crazy, because I believe Jesus is going to pull up to your soul. And you're going to experience something for the very first time. Whether you've been in church your whole life, Jesus is going to do a new thing in your soul tonight. And people are going to start to heal tonight. How about you stand with me? And no words, no story, nothing I can say can help you overcome what you've been through or what you're currently facing. But all I can say is that when Jesus pulls up a chair and you see his eyes and you see his presence, it feels like it's possible just to go one more day. Every day let Jesus in daily, let him in. Don't just read about him, get to know the man. Don't just sing songs about him, actually soak in his presence and let him in tonight. And all of a sudden, it's like without us even knowing, it's like, whoa, I'm starting to actually change. I'm changing. I didn't even do anything and I'm changing. I can't even answer you how I changed. I'm just changing because I let Jesus into my heart and into my soul. And now all of a sudden, I don't crave the things I used to want to crave and do. Jesus is starting to change me from the inside out. And he's here tonight, you know. He's right next to you, you know. And so as we just shut our eyes and begin to worship God, I got to tell you, man, God's in the room whether you believe it or not. Whether you haven't believed a word that's come out of my mouth or not, Jesus is still in the room. And tonight he wants to do business with you and your soul. And so would you let him in tonight? God, like never before, would you touch these people tonight? That the King's in the room and he wants to sit at your soul tonight. He wants to mend your heart tonight. Tonight he wants to do it. Tonight let him in. Tonight let it be a night that our souls are changed forever. Thank you, Lee.